Hi, I'm Holly Gleason. I'm a Pollstar contributing editor doing a fireside chat today to celebrate Impact 50. Um, we have some incredible panelists. One of our Pollstar 50 impactors and a woman of live. Pollstar has said of Mary Hilliard, if you called her a baller, she would probably laugh. Um, she is a manager at Red Light Nashville. She is the chairman of the Country Music Association, and she is a woman who gets things done. Joining us is her client, Elle King, a woman who's had 3 Grammy nominations, two for Best Rock Performance and Best Rock Song for X's and O's, and one for Best Country Performance by a Duo or Group for Different for Girls with Dierks Bentley. In addition, she's won 2 CMA awards for Best Vocal Event for the Dierks Bentley song, and also for Fooled Around and Fell in Love with Miranda Lambert and a cast of babes. Right now, and that's why I'm wearing my Miranda Lambert t-shirt, she is scalding the charts with Drunk and I Don't Want to Go Home. So, Elle King, Mary Hilliard, Harrington, thank you for having us.
Thanks, Holly.
Yeah, you're welcome. Let's get right to it. Everybody talks about how being a woman in the business, there are all these things that are so hard about it. Knowing both of you guys, because you kick ass, what are the advantages to being a woman in the music business?
Elle?
Oh, sorry. I'm in like the middle of the hills in California, so the service is a little wonky. I think that there's a lot of power in being a woman. Me personally, I feel like it has given me an amount of, which has it's kind of been a little bit of I think maybe like from old school days, like, well, I'm a woman, so I have extra to prove. So it's a pushing factor. And but that might just be because I'm a little bit masochistic and crazy. But I think that with a woman, being a woman, you do demand some attention, and there's a little bit of a territory of like, if I'm really stern, then I'm a B word, or if I really like, if people think I'm hard to work with, if super demanding on what I want and what I request and having standards for myself. But I think it just comes with the territory of being like a a woman, and unfortunately there's a lot to come with it. But I think the powerfulness is knowing how to fight through that and be really sturdy and like have a lot of structure yourself. So I don't know, Mary's the most badass woman in this business that I know. So Mary would probably know. She's the one who helps me figure it out.
Right.
Well, I actually think the power in being a woman is how much we care about people and like what we bring, that I think, there's more like maybe it is coming, and then we show up with like wide open hearts and like just really take care of the people around us. And I think that also gives a bit of an advantage to just sort of like a more transactional form of business, which I think oftentimes men can fall into.
Absolutely. Do you have a favorite thing, either one of you, that people expect about a woman, and then when they work with you, they're like, oh God, you're nothing like I thought this was going to be?
Well, I know that with my own personal reputation,
Mary, do you want to jump in? She's frozen.
Yeah, I couldn't really hear what was going on because of the Wi-Fi, but I mean, I would say that I think sometimes women, especially in the touring world, right, with Pollstar, it's like people assume that maybe they don't want to tour as hard hard, or they can't do as many days on the road in a row, or some of those, kinds of things. And we're maybe treated a little more kid gloves, or people want to, but we work harder. I mean, at least the girls that I manage, Elle and also Kaylee Hammock, both of them would outwork almost any man I know, and they would do it, and they're fine, going 6 days on the road and not washing their hair and doing it just as down and dirty as the men are. And I think that that's, a testament to who they are as people, but I think people don't expect it. And so I think that's a perception buster for sure.
Absolutely. Elle, you're back. You need to be unmuted.
Back and muted.
There we go.
Hey, let's start this again, shall we?
Okay. What's your favorite notion that people have about women to blow up? Do you have one?
I'm going to open the door.
Maybe that'll help.
Okay.
The Wi-Fi is great in California.
I opened the door. I'm so sorry. Can you repeat the question, please?
Sure. What is your favorite notion to blow up? Like, people think this about girls and then they meet you and...
That girls can't handle it. That, because it's a lot, and that girls are too emotional to be present or to function through things. I think that it's actually a strength of ours that we're so emotional, because we can feel everything and can handle a lot more than people give us credit for. So I think that some girls could, there would be maybe a perception of like, well, they are like really emotional, and so how can they handle it on the road? It's like, we do it just fine. We do it great.
That's actually kind of what Mary said. So you've been a punk act, you've been a rock act, you've been an alternative act, a country act, torchy with Dirks, kind of brazen with Miranda. How are you so genre fluid?
I don't know. I feel actually very blessed that no one had but I would take, I don't think I would accept that as an answer. I play multiple instruments. I'm influenced by multiple genres, and I also operate heavily on my emotions and my feelings to write music. And so sometimes I wake up and it's a blues song. Sometimes I wake up and it's like a heavy rock. So, that, like I say, that use it to my advantage, and I operate strongly off of my emotions. My emotions really lead my way, because I write music from my soul and my spirit and my heart. And that's the only way I know how to do it. And I think it comes off in like a somehow magically genuine way where I don't have to be put in any sort of a box.
I think for creative people, that does. I mean, it's freeing and it's inspiring. How do you
have the option to that? Fictions, and it's not one thing. I'm sorry.
No, so go ahead.
Oh no, is there a lag right now? Sorry.
It's okay. No, because one of the things about you, Elle, is
I'm going out.
You've toured with Dashboard Confessional, of Monsters and Men, Ed Sheeran, James Bay, Modest Mouse, Joan Jett, the Chicks, Miranda, and you work everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, now we hate you. Look where you are.
Yeah, but look how good my service is.
Much better. How do you navigate? Because this is an industry where it's like, find out what you do and Xerox it, and you're constantly changing it up. How do you? And Mary, I mean, well, you've jump in here too.
I mean, I don't want to get bored. I want to be constantly interested in what I'm doing, because it keeps it exciting. And Mary's really awesome, because she knows that I'm not just, I don't travel just down one lane. So Mary is always bringing in opportunities, and she doesn't like close the door on anything that could interest me or could be cool or could be a different avenue to go down. So it's like a really wonderful kind of combination of creativity and also like the side of like management that's the creative side of management that people don't give them enough credit for, that I feel really blessed that Mary brings to the table of her kind of out of the box thinking too.
Mary, are there any tricks to managing somebody who is a little out of the box? Because Dirks Bentley, who you also manage, is another guy who you never know what he's going to drop next.
Yeah, no, I think you just have to follow them and follow wherever they're going artistically and do the best you can to help create, you know, the narrative to what it is they want to say. I mean, Holly, you know about narrative better than anyone, and really just, you know, helping create and tell the story that they want to tell. And that does take a certain amount of, you know, creativity and vision, but they're leading it with the music and what they're writing, and you know, and then you just try and put the plan around it. And I'm really lucky that I work with such individual artists. None of them are cookie cutter, you know, and I couldn't do cookie cutter. That feels like super boring to me. So yeah, I mean, it sounds overly simple, but I just follow them.
Do you, Elle, do you change your show based on like who you're opening for? Is it a different show for Ed Sheeran than it is for Joan Jett?
Completely. And if you aren't able to do that, you're in the wrong business. I mean, you have to know your audience, and you have to play to a crowd. Be adapt your environment. A one-trick pony, and who wants to be a one-trick pony? You have to be adaptable.
Absolutely. And your record company seems to go with it too. You guys are going after adult content. How do you see this right now with Drunk and I Don't Want to Go Home? And I guess country is going to start going for it this week. Is it strange to think that you're one of the few artists that can fit in all these different boxes?
No, I think it's awesome. And also the record label goes along with it because they respect and maybe have a healthy fear of Mary, to be honest.
They've actually been super great to work with. And honestly, on this song, everyone internally is so pumped at multiple formats that I haven't had to be scary at all. They're like, I think they smell blood in the water, you know, because it's doing so well. And so everyone, it's all hands on deck. And that feels good, you know, and she, it's working all over the world. It's not just working in, you know, at hot AC and at country, it's working globally. And so, you know, everyone at RCA and Sony Nashville and beyond, they're jumping up and down to work on Elle, which has been phenomenal.
Well, that was one of my questions is, obviously streaming makes things more fluid, but Elle King is a global superstar. So when you take this out to the world, do you change how you look at touring? Do you change how you look at positioning or telling the story of a song like this?
I mean, it's interesting because, you know, we have the song as we're coming out of COVID and, you know, having to sort of restart the whole touring game, not just globally, but here at home too. And Elle is also expecting her first baby. So, you know, our touring plans and in terms of taking this world outside of a handful of dates with Chris Stapleton in the summer really starts in earnest in February. And we'll go back out and build from there. And we have other music coming between now and then as well. So I think we're still trying to wrap our arms around what the global look to that will be, but we're going to start here and build from there. And towards the end of 2022, you know, look overseas.
How is the song being presented globally? Or how would you guys like the song to be seen globally? Because it is different.
It is different. I mean, you know, truthfully, they're two different mixes of the song. There's one here, and then there's one that's more of a dance remix version that's happening overseas, and starting to see some traction there, and version, and has also given a little lift here in the States as well. And so we're just watching it grow, and it's happening completely organically. I mean, we, you know, outside of some playlisting, we haven't really done a lot to push it. And I think it just speaks to the power of the song, but also the mood that people are in. And I think the timing is impeccable. We down, and the last thing you want to do is release a song called "Don't Want to Go Home." Everyone was stuck at home, so we really did. Having patience was hard on this, because we knew we had something special, but we waited until February to do it, and now it just feels like it's lining up exactly as it was supposed to.
Yeah.
Elle, what's your fantasy for the song? What is your fantasy outcome for Drunk and I Don't Want to Go Home?
I have more of like an emotional fantasy, I guess.
Right.
My my fantasy is that, you know, everyone hears a song and it kind of reminds everyone that we have all made it. Like this feels like a finish line song. This feels like we've made it through a global pandemic, and we're okay, and we're not going back to normal. We're starting new, and we all got through this together, so we can let our hair down. And I mean, what's better than like an anthemic kind of party song, to be honest, you know, because it's been a really stressful and a really just hard time on a planet. Like what can you like recall that's been like a planetary togetherness of something that we have all gone through universally? And so to think that we have put out this song, and I know that this is not like a We Are the World song, but this is like, I don't want to go home. Like, take my keys. I'm not going there. I've been locked in that place for so long. And so it's, I guess when I say like emotional, it's like, I want to make people feel good. And I want this to be a song that is like, whatever it is, whatever your like drink is, whether it's being outside, whatever variable that is, like, I want you to do it to the fullest and like stay outside and do it. Like, don't go home, like celebrate that we have freedom again. So it feels like a finish line freedom kind of song. And I don't really have any like chart goals or streaming goals, right, or number goals. I have feeling goals, and that's how I put out music. And I don't know, that's pretty much it, I guess.
I think it's a pretty good goal, honestly. Yeah. I mean, after everything we've all been through, how have you played any shows? Have you done any little tester dates, or you locked down in the studio? Yeah. How was that?
No, I mean, I've done streaming. I've done a couple like live streams, and they were awesome. It was just nice to play. It's really nice to be with my band again and do what we have pretty much spent our entire lives working for. Like, we've all spent a majority of our lives learning how to play instruments and honing it to be on stage. So it's just nice to be able to do that again in whatever kind of arena we can. But I'm very excited to have an audience. I'm more excited for like that, again, like that togetherness of, I know you guys want to be here. I want to be here. Let's be here together. Let's celebrate. We're out and about. So it kind of wipes away any sort of, I don't want to say like jadedness of touring or playing shows, but you get into a routine when you play for so long. So to have that kind of stripped from you as a fan, as a listener, as a concert goer, as a musician, as a performer, to get to have that excitement back in such a new way is a very beautiful thing. So it's like getting those heart paddles, like jolted into rebooting your dreams of, oh, this is what I love to do. This is my passion. So I'm excited to feel that again.
I bet. I mean, I want to say it's a drug of choice, but that surge of when those crowds hit you, it's like, woo! Yeah. And it's interesting because I think sometimes you're so saucy that people lose sight of A, how hard you rock, and B, you make the banjo rock. You know, I remember
Yeah,
seeing
I
you
know.
at Bonnaroo with your ripped up fishnets throwing down on a banjo. Can you
Yeah.
break that down for all of our viewers?
The banjo is an instrument that not everybody plays, and
Exactly.
I've always kind of been one to stray from the norm. Um, and it also kind of really digs at a lot of my like home strings, and reminds me of like where I come from, which is Southern Ohio, and we listen to a lot of bluegrass and old country music. And so growing up, I don't know, I it was an unexpected thing to kind of fall into, but then it made sense as it went. Um, I don't know how well I can play the banjo now because I have a giant beach ball
Right.
that I'm smuggling because I'm pregnant. But you can always just play it on the side. But
Right.
yeah, there's just something cool. There's like it's just, I've always been kind of for the shock factor thing. So it's like, oh, this chick plays banjo. That's cool. That's different. Anything that would, when I was on the up and up and trying to make a name for myself, or just maybe just prove something, I'd whip out the banjo and it'd be like, oh, okay, well, let's see how she's going to play it. And I play it differently. I don't play it like normally. I play it my own way. And it's really something that makes you kind of remember someone. And I'm glad. I mean, I never thought I'd say I'm glad of some of the choices that I've made, but sometimes it works out. So playing the banjo is something that's definitely different and interesting and cool. So, and I love it. I love it. There's no greater joy than like playing banjo really, really hard and like rocking out on stage. I really miss it a lot. Yeah, Bonnaroo, that was a fun one. That was a hot show.
It was a hot show, and you slammed on the banjo. Like, how does it even occur to you to beat a banjo up like that?
I don't know. I go somewhere else and I just like, I get this crazy energy on stage and I just go wild. I don't play like my stage banjo is not like my home banjo playing. So it's just something, it's an energy, especially at a festival like Bonnaroo too. It's just really fuels you in a different way.
Yeah, it was awesome, and it was hot too. It was a hot show,
Yeah.
and it was a hot day. Oh my god.
Yeah.
So, and one of the things I think is interesting, and this is about that risk taking thing that you do. You're coming off of or into X's and O's, and then you're doing different for girls, which is this really vulnerable ballad that's like,
Yeah.
so see my flank. Were you worried that was going to confuse people, or was it departure? Was it who was after who? Was Mary and Dirk, were they chasing you, or did someone?
Mary called me. I didn't really know much about modern country, so I called my brother, and my brother was like, you better do that. And first of all, I want to say people have been confused by me since I was born. I'm a very confusing thing. Like, you don't know what genre I am. You don't know if I'm a lady or a crazy person. So I've really come to terms with that. And yeah, I don't know. I was just kind of like winging it, and like you have to just try things. And if it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out. But at least you can say that I showed up and I tried and I attempted it. And then when I met Dirks and I met Mary, it was so lovely and nice and wonderful. And I think deep down, even though I might not have said it or known it, deep down, I always wanted to be a part of the country world, even before I knew what modern country really was, and I feel very grateful to that experience because it really showed me a lot. It really taught me a lot. And I learned very quickly, wow, modern country music is like the big leagues. It's so different. It's so different than pop and alternative. And it's two separate worlds. It's two, like, completely separate. And I once I got a taste of it, I was like, this is amazing. This is crazy. They operate differently. The way that they work together, the way that they write music, the way that music it was fascinating to me. And I don't always tell people this, but I genuinely care about the business aspect of my career and of what I am doing as an entertainer. And so it's very fascinating to me and interesting. And so it's like a big, another one of those challenges. And yeah, I don't know if I like woke up a month before, you know, we got the call about from Mary and Dirks of like, you know what, I'd like to do a slowish ballad on modern country radio. No, but you have to be open. And again, you have to adapt. And as things come into your life, you don't want to just slam a door because something's different or new. You have to kind of roll with it. And that experience completely changed the trajectory of my life and my career. So I'm pretty glad I did it.
Mary, what did the record company say when you go, hey, we've got an idea. We've got this girl and she's punk and she's covered in tattoos. How'd that go? Mary? Now Mary's frozen. This has been quite a game of freeze tag, hasn't it? Oh, so the other question that I think is kind of fascinating is you're full tilt all the time.
Yeah.
Are you just so passionate about all of this stuff that there's not enough music in the world for you to consume?
Yeah. And also, I mean, I feel very blessed that music is like, it's my life. It's 90% of my life because I eat, sleep, breathe, live music. And I love other people's music too. I don't love just creating it. I love music. It's enjoyment, it's entertainment, it's wonderful. And I want to be a part of that sourcing out of, you know, like I want to put out music that evokes emotion and makes people feel, because that's what it does for me. So it's like a very like, I don't know. I just want to be a part of it. Music is really fucking cool.
Totally. So how did you two get together? What made you, did you approach Mary? Did it just happen organically? How did you two get together?
Just a little bit of begging on my part. No, I mean, you go through the entertainment industry and just like, you know, weird ideas of song collaborations, you have to try. It's trial and error. You work with people and sometimes it works awesome. In Mary's case, works really awesome. In other cases, it has been like pulling teeth, which is, you know, ultimately what led me, unhappiness is what led me to Red Light and to Mary. I met Mary and I saw the way that things worked, and I saw the way artists were cared for, and I saw the way that artists were happy. At the end of the day, you know, people were happy working with Mary. And it's something to be said about that. And it's a very sought after thing. And and so it was like a conversation years before that was a bad choice that I made, in all honesty. And but sometimes you have to take your own journey to get places, and I ended up where I was supposed to end up ultimately.
Got it. Mary, when Elle came to you, what did you think?
I mean, like no brainer. Yes. You know, I like, she's such a force of nature, everything about her that I am always feel so proud of her when she steps on stage, when she records, the way she handles people, you know, she glows from the inside out. And those are, you know, I kind of said this at the top, those are the kind of artists that I want to be around, and that this is a 24/7 kind of job, and those are the people that I want to kind of be away from. I want it to be doing it with people that I love in an organic way. But, you know, 7 years later, being able to work together in a new way has been so fulfilling.
This has been our panel. I can't tell if Mary's going to unfreeze. Well, I see Ray Waddell. Oh, she's unfreezing. Mary,
Mute.
She's mute. I know. Mary, do you have anything else to say? Do you want to unmute yourself, or do you want to just surrender? Oh, she surrendered. Hey, Ray. Hey, Ray Waddell. I see you in picture. I want to see you in face so I can introduce you. Ray, unmute yourself. There we go. Hi, honey. Can you believe we've got Elle King with us and we have Mary Hilliard Harrington?
I'm loving it. Hey, how you doing, Elle? I'm Ray.
Good. How are you? Hi, Ray.
I feel like $100 today.
You look pretty good. Ray is the president of the Oakview Group Media and Conferences. He is a very big dog. And somebody probably in the crowd at Bonnaroo rocking out, watching you probably from the other side of the crowd. So Ray, are you ready to I love being your opening act. Are you ready to go talk to all the incredible agents and give us so much wisdom we can't take it?
I am. I was at Elle set, but it's all a blur to me now. But I do recall being there.
Yeah.
You know how Bonnaroo is. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys. And thanks for doing this.
Oh God, our pleasure. Thanks, Ray.
Thank you.
Thanks, Elle, and thanks, Mary, wherever you are. Go back to the studio and crush this
Thank
with
you.
more
Bye,
rain.
guys.